Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. I'm pretty sure at this point we can all honestly admit that Vivek Ramaswamy has been giving a masterclass in how to run a political campaign. This guy is firing on all cylinders, hitting every single note. Is he gonna leapfrog Donald Trump and become the Republican candidate? Probably not. Although anything is possible. But anyways, the point is that Vivek has done an absolutely stellar job. And guys like him, in my opinion, is exactly what we need to freshen up politics and to get away from the status quo of old. And probably one of the best elements, the most impressive elements of Vivek Ramaswamy's rise is that he's done it without being a cynical, uniparty, never-Trumper shill. Everybody challenging Donald Trump wants to go for the crown, wants to go for the throat. They've all shown themselves to be slimy little politicians, snakes. I guess we could call it biting the hand that fed them. But Vivek Ramaswamy has taken a different approach, and it seems like it's working. The guy's an absolute stud, and it's moments like these that really cement that fact. This right here is why Vivek is rising, and others are falling. Let me show you guys exactly what I mean by that. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright friends, so you know what I appreciate? A no-nonsense, no beating around the bush approach. And that's exactly what you get with this guy. When he's asked a question, when a mainstream media, never Trump shill, tries to establish a bogus narrative, Vivek smacks it down without even thinking twice.
I can understand that, but there are 91 criminal charges in all, Vivek, as you're aware, over 4 criminal cases. They can't all be politicized, can they? I mean, there's something that the former president must have done in any one of these that struck you as wrong, if not illegal.
I think, Neil, just because the government has brought a case, if we're going to be a culture that now starts to say there must be something wrong, if the government has charged 91 counts, I think that's a people of sheep. And when the people behave like sheep, that breeds a government of wolves.
Well, you don't think there's anything in this case, Vivek? You don't think there's anything in this case that shows or even strongly hints of the former president trying to reverse that Georgia contest?
Neil, you know, I've had this conversation before. There's a difference between a bad judgment and an illegal act. And I view this indictment in the context of, as you put it, 3 other independent indictments. The first one beginning in New York for a novel election and campaign contribution theory, to one that has a novel theory of interpreting the Presidential Records Act, to a novel theory of attorney-client relationships. When you have a series of novel legal theories that are used to indict a prior U.S. president and a sitting candidate in the middle of an election, I just don't think that's good for the country. I'm in this to lead our nation forward, not to be a political commentator or legal analyst on a series of legal cases. But what I will say as a candidate in this race is that I do not think it is good for our country to set this precedent.
That's how you turn it around, flip the script, when a neocon media ghoul tries establishing his narrative with a clear attempt to kind of put you in a position to take one of these pathetic little weak milquetoast fence-sitting stances. Ramaswamy says, no, there's 91 charges, surely one of them must stick, is essentially what he's saying. They want so badly to give credibility to this bogus witch hunt, and the response should be absolutely not. And I mean, just think about how crazy that is. Neil Cavuto is trying to justify these indictments by saying, hey, they charged him with 91 different counts of conspiracy and other freaking nonsense and fraud. Maybe Trump's guilty of 1 or 2. Is that seriously the stance that you want to take? Well, 89 of the 91 charges are complete bogus. Maybe 1 or 2 have some merit. Therefore, the whole thing's justified, no? No, it's all a bunch of garbage. And anyone planning to run for president as a conservative should have the basic decency and frankly the cojones to unequivocally, wholeheartedly condemn the whole fraud, not just parts of it. And you know, that's what's frustrating with people like DeSantis. He was in everyone's good graces for a very long time, but now when faced with questions on the topic of these Trump indictments, his responses are just weak, cringy, establishmentarian, just not it.
So I haven't had a chance to read it all, but I will tell you is Atlanta has huge problems with crime right now. And there has been an approach to crime which has been less than exacting. I think there have been criminals that have let out that shouldn't have been let out. And so they're now doing an inordinate amount of resources to try to shoehorn this contest over the 2020 election into a RICO statute, which was really designed to be able to go after organized crime, not necessarily to go after political activity. And so I think it's an example of this criminalization of politics. I don't think that this is something that's good for the country. But I think a lot of Republican voters are looking at some of the things that have happened, whether it's the Department of Justice, whether it is some of the things that have happened local. And I think the question is, okay, what are we going to do about it? And I've already said, as president, we are going to end the weaponization of federal agencies like the DOJ and FBI. We'll have a new director. We will have new leadership in the DOJ. We're going to make sure that there's a single standard of justice in this country. Now, in terms of some of these local DAs, in Florida, we've actually suspended two, one in Tampa, one in Orlando.
No mention of Trump by name. He still refuses to say Donald Trump, claims that he didn't even read the indictment, and then just kind of makes the whole thing about himself. He keeps going on and on, making the same point. There's other serious crimes in these places, and these Soros DAs are focused on these political prosecutions. It just comes off as insincere. And most importantly, when people are looking to vote for you, they want to know that you're not just another politician who packages these middle ground, vague political talking points. But that's the vibe that DeSantis is giving off. The contrast could not be more clear. Vivek is saying, I'm going to pardon Donald Trump. Even if Donald Trump is technically his political rival, he's gonna say what's right and make a very clear campaign promise relating to this issue. That's how you run a political campaign in the modern day, at least in the world of conservatism. People are done with the pussyfooting, the tiptoeing, the cringe, inauthentic political games. It's paying dividends, folks. Look at this data from RMG Research. 2024 National Republican primary shift from late June to mid-August. Vivek Ramaswamy's up 10 points, and he's now polling higher than Ron DeSantis. I mean, look at the chart here from 538. DeSantis' campaign has totally tanked into the gutter. Meanwhile, Vivek Ramaswamy started in the real gutter, in the 0% range, and on the aggregate, with outdated polls affecting the current data set, he's skyrocketing and right on DeSantis' tail. Look, when it comes to anybody in the world of politics, obviously, you have to be somewhat skeptical. You can't give someone absolute trust. You never know, they might campaign as one person and then take off the mask the moment they're elected. I'm not here to shill Ramaswamy as the greatest thing to ever happen in the world of politics, but what I am saying is credit where credit is due. This guy is running a serious campaign. This guy knows how to hit the notes. He knows how to sound authentic. He knows how to be genuine. He knows how to be extremely honest, and he knows how to absolutely BTFO the media. He's gone on so many different outlets, and almost every single appearance has been a total knock out of the park home run. From getting Don Lemon fired at CNN to his most recent very interesting encounter at the Breakfast Club, what we're seeing is a master class in how to be a modern day politician. I don't think it's his time just yet, but if Vivek can help and establish this new standard of absolute brutal honesty, taking hardline stances and being courageous enough to say the stuff that these career politicians refuse to say or are too scared to say, well then I'd say that's a good thing. And I guess in conclusion, I like this guy. He's a pretty cool dude. That's pretty much it. That's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. You know that we'd love to have you here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.